Get ready to learn about everything you need to know about Cedar Point, including when is the best time to visit, how many days do you really need, is the fast lane worth it, where are the best places to stay, and finally, I'm going to teach you my must-know Cedar Point secret where you will save so much time and money, followed by my perfect Cedar Point itinerary that works every time. Cedar Point is really a place like no other, and you're not going to want to plan a trip to this awesome park until you watch this video. So let's begin with, how many days do you need? Cedar Point is huge and offers over 70 rides and attractions, dozens of water slides, 18 coasters once Top Thrill 2 opens, and so much more. In order for you to get the full Cedar Point experience while enjoying everything the park offers, I definitely recommend spending at least 2 full days in the park. You really cannot do it all in one day, and nor should you put that type of pressure on yourself. However, if you only have one day, then I honestly recommend splurging for the fast lane. Seriously, you will need it. This way, you'll spend more time riding and enjoying the rides and less time waiting in line. I do not want you to only be able to ride a few of the coasters or steal Vengeance just once. When is the best time to visit? Not only will Cedar Point be the busiest from mid-June through mid-August, the hotel rates will also be a lot more expensive as well. So I always plan my Cedar Point trips not during the busiest times, and more on that coming up near the end of this video. I also recommend visiting the park weekends in September. Saturdays in October are when the park can be at its busiest because of their Hollow Weekends Halloween event. So if you want to experience that event, I highly recommend the weekends in September. I have been visiting Cedar Point pretty much every year since 1993, and I have been lucky enough to spend at least 200 days at the park in my life. And I created this video to help you have a better Cedar Point experience. So if you find this video to be helpful in any way, then all I ask is that you please give it a like. That is by far the best way that you can help support my channel. What days are the best to visit? Just like every other theme park, weekdays are always the best time to visit. For the best luck, crowd-wise, I recommend visiting on Monday, Tuesdays, or Wednesdays. Thursdays aren't that bad, but Fridays do tend to be a little bit busier. If you only have weekends, then Sunday is better than Saturday, of course, and if you have to go on a Saturday and the weather is free of rain, then again, I highly recommend a fast lane. And I'm going to share some more information about the fast lane passes very soon. When should you arrive at the park? If you have a Prestige Pass or staying at a Cedar Point resort, then you're able to enjoy early entry for the park. I highly recommend this. Cedar Point early entry is a game changer. I recommend checking out Cedar Point's website for dates, times, and a list of rides and coasters that will be open for early entry. If you cannot make early entry, then getting to the park before opening is my key to success at Cedar Point. I recommend getting to the parking lot at least 45 minutes before opening. Seriously, this is vital. This will allow you enough time to park your car and get to the front gate. Because before you even enter the park, you have to battle 3 lines. You have to battle the parking toll line, and then the security line, and then finally the line where you scan your ticket to get into the park. So just allow yourself enough time to do all of that. Where to purchase tickets? I have always purchased my tickets on Cedar Point's app or their website, or I've had a season pass. Now keep in mind, if someone in your party has a season pass gold tier or higher, then they can get the bring a friend rate that is a lot cheaper. Also, always purchase your tickets in advance. Please, for the love of Skyline Chili, do not purchase your tickets at the park when you arrive. Trust me, do it online beforehand. Season Pass options. Here's a current look at the Season Pass types that Cedar Point offers. And as you can see, there's a ton of benefits for having a Season Pass, and you really cannot beat the value. So the biggest question that I get asked all the time, is the Fast Lane Pass really worth it? And currently, Cedar Point offers two Fast Lane options. You have the regular Fast Lane and the Fast Lane Plus. So here's my rule of thumb on purchasing a Fast Lane. Always go with the Fast Lane Plus, since you can skip the regular queue line for attractions like Top Thrill 2, Millennium Force, Maverick, and Steel Vengeance. Without Fast Lane, on most days, the lines for those attractions are all going to be about an hour or longer. With regular Fast Lane, you do not get to skip those lines for those rides. And since they are the most popular rides in the park, the lines move extra slow. So it's worth the additional money. Fast Lane is the best system out there for any theme park, because all you have to do is scan your Fast Lane Plus wristband and there is no limit on how many rides you want to ride. Once you ride the ride, all you have to do is walk around again, scan your wristband, and then get back in the Fast Lane line. If this is your very first visit to Cedar Point, or you don't visit very often, then please try to add Fast Lane Plus in your budget. Trust me, it's honestly worth it. I just do not find there to be any value in a regular Fast Lane if you're wanting to ride the best coasters in the park. And since the whole trip to Cedar Point will cost you a decent amount of money anyways, you might as well treat yourself to get the best experience possible. For a park like Cedar Point, I will never not buy one unless it's a rainy day and the crowds are at a minimum. Money savings tip: don't purchase a Fast Lane too far in advance. They do not sell out, and you should see what the weather's planning on doing before you purchase it. So I recommend purchasing the day of your visit or right at the park. Download the Cedar Point app. This app is great and offers a park map, show times, and wait times. Cedar Point is huge and it's easy to not know where you're going, so that map feature on the app is critical. Cedar Point parking tips. One of the benefits of staying at Hotel Breakers or Lighthouse Point is that you don't have to get in the car and drive to the park and deal with this crazy huge parking lot. But if you're staying somewhere else, then what I do is get to the parking tolls 45 minutes before opening so you don't get stuck in traffic along the causeway, because it will get backed up and early. Which entrance to use? Cedar Point offers 4 entrances. I know, confusing. So if you are staying at Hotel Breakers or Lighthouse Point, then the Magnum entrance is the one you should use the most. Another benefit of staying at those 2 locations. For all others, you have to use the main entrance for early entry. Now here's something new. Cedar Point is cashless. So if you plan on bringing cash to the park, you have to visit one of the cash to card kiosks that are located throughout the park. Plan for the weather. Here's a look at the average temperatures that you can expect throughout the Cedar Point operating season. The average high is 68 degrees in May and 54 degrees for the low. It's 78 and 64 in June, and then in July, the average is 83 degrees and 70 for the low. August is 80 for the high and 68 for the low. Then September, 73 degrees for the high, with the low being 61 degrees. And then October is a high of 61 degrees and a low of 49. And obviously, these are the weather averages. So the weather at Cedar Point could either be warmer or colder or just about on average. Cedar Point Child Swap. For all moms and dads who love riding coasters, Cedar Point makes it easy for you to enjoy all the rides and attractions that the park offers. So if you have young kids and you still want to enjoy all the major rides, you should still be planning a trip to Cedar Point. And here is how the Cedar Point Parent Swap program works. One parent waits in line for a coaster or another ride, and then after they get off, they give their parent swap pass to the ride operator. And the other parent or guardian who's been taking care of the little ones can walk up the exit to get right on the ride. Now, to participate in the parent swap program, parents need to obtain a slip to authorize them for the program at one of the following locations: guest services at the main entrance, the Town Hall Museum, or the resort entrance gate near Magnum. Cedar Point special events. Throughout the year, Cedar Point puts on some great special events that might interest you. During the summer, they always offer their night entertainment that consists of awesome shows, DJs, and fireworks to cap off the night. You will also find some great food festivals at the park throughout the year as well. But the most popular special event that Cedar Point offers is their fall events. Fun during the day and terror blows in at the night during Cedar Point's Hollow Weekends. This is a great event that is fun for kids of all ages until around 6 p.m. That is when the ghosts of Cedar Point take the midways. Is Cedar Point Shores worth it? This water park is actually really nice and offers a great slide collection for all ages. Cedar Point Shores also offers a wave pool, 2 lazy rivers, and a massive kid area with tons of activities for the little ones. If water parks are your thing and you like to cool off and have a good time, then take advantage of this nice and clean water park located right next to Cedar Point. If you are looking for some cool coaster gear to wear while you're at Cedar Point or any other park, then check out my online store at keepridingcoasters.com. You will find comfortable and affordable coaster riding gear. Where are the best places to stay, and is staying on property worth it? And yes, staying on property is definitely worth it. Aside from early entry, there is a lot of additional benefits when it comes to the Cedar Point hotels. For one, they are the nicest overall ones in the area, and for two, if you have a season pass, then you're able to get a discounted rate. If you stay at Hotel Breakers or Lighthouse Point in either a cabin or your RV, then you get to walk to the park every morning and you don't have to deal with traffic getting to the park and when the park closes. The time you'll waste waiting in traffic is worth at least looking into the rates to stay on the peninsula. Cedar Point offers 5 unique places to stay, and each one offering a price point that is perfect for any budget. Now, if you don't want to stay at a Cedar Point hotel, then you'll find a whole collection of hotels that are located along the main strip of Sandusky. Now it's time for you to learn about my Cedar Point money savings tip and my perfect itinerary so you too can get the most out of your Cedar Point vacation. Almost every time I visit Cedar Point, it's during the first 2 weeks of June or the last week of August. By planning your trip around this time, you will avoid the peak summer days, and there's a very good chance that you can save some money and not even need to purchase a fast lane. Seriously, this will save you a ton of money. And if the park is a little bit busy and you do need a fast lane, then the prices are not nearly as bad on a weekday in early June or late August compared to a weekday in July. As for my perfect Cedar Point itinerary, first plan ahead because you'll need 2 full days of fun for Cedar Point. I recommend staying at Hotel Breakers or Lighthouse Point and purchase a Fastlane Plus if you're not planning on visiting during the early June or late August. Also, be sure to purchase the dining plan. Now I know this can be a bit pricey, but remember, this is the perfect Cedar Point itinerary. To help save you some more money, bring breakfast snacks with you. That way in the morning you can just eat something in your hotel room and then grab an early lunch at Cedar Point, because most of the restaurants open as early as 11 a.m. Next up is get to the Magnum or the Windseeker Gate no later than 30 minutes before early entry starts. This is vital. And once you're in the park, go have fun, enjoy the fast lane, and skip the lines as much as you would like, and enjoy eating every 90 minutes with your dining plan pass. Now keep in mind, if you have the all-season dining plan, then you get to enjoy 2 meals a day, with a 4-hour gap in between meals. Since this itinerary has you staying at Breakers or Lighthouse Point, then you can leave whenever you want and head back to your room or cabin so you can relax, or you can throw on your swimsuit and enjoy cooling off in the pools and the Cedar Point Beach. And in case you're wondering, the Cedar Point Beach is very clean and it's very shallow, making it great for families and kids. Plus, what other beach can you visit and swim out and look back and see 5 coasters over 200 feet tall? Exactly. Then, after you cool off in Lake Erie and or the pools, I recommend going back to your room or cabin to freshen up before you head back into the park. Then, depending on when the park is closing, you'll have a few hours to enjoy the park and of course night rides. And don't forget about your dinner that is included with your dining plan. And do you want to know what the best part is about this itinerary? And that is, after the park closes, all you have to do is walk back to your hotel room or cabin, while everyone else is stuck in a minimal 30-minute traffic jam just to leave the park. Not you, because you watched this video, and because at that point, you'll be walking the beach at night, enjoying the fire pits, the sights and sounds of the waves, and relaxing after your amazing day at Cedar Point. And finally, my last itinerary tip. Take a walk on the beach all the way down to Gatekeeper. It is very relaxing to walk with your feet in the sand at night while a giant B&M wing coaster is looming above you. Another great thing is the beach is filled with comfortable chairs, so pull one up to the water and just sit there and stare into the lake. And on a clear night, you'll see tons of stars and of course the moon. It really is a relaxing experience. Now please do not forget to give this video a like, because that wraps up my tips on how to plan the best Cedar Point vacation. What are you looking forward to most about your trip to Cedar Point? Please let me know in the comments, and I really hope this video has made you even more excited about your upcoming Cedar Point trip. And if you have any other questions, feel free to ask them in the comments and I'll try to answer the best I can. As always, thank you so much for watching. Remember to smile today, think positive, and keep riding coasters.